Hi family, Wanasaurus here. Just wanted to stop in and do this quick vid. So today was a great day for me. I had the honor and the privilege of giving out several scholarships at a middle school graduation in East Harlem today. And the scholarships were in the memory of my late daughter, Ijama. The principal of the school was actually Ijama's teacher throughout middle school at a different Catholic school. And over the years, she's kept in touch, and she was a big part of my support system after Ijama passed away. So I just wanted to give back because that is the community that I grew up in. The school is actually 5 blocks from where I grew up, and it was, my heart is just so full right now because I have been struggling this week with the celebrity suicides. There were triggers for me because people have been making some very insensitive comments about the deaths by suicide and these 2 prominent celebrities. And my heart just goes out to the families because I know what that pain feels like. And, people will judge you and people will make negative comments about your loved one's actions or even your actions as to, well, why are you still grieving? That happened, a year ago, that happened 2 years ago. But you don't just get over the loss of a loved one, especially when you're dealing with something like complicated grief that comes, as a result of the suicide, because it's just a completely different thing than just someone dying tragically or someone dying, from old age, or, when people know that a loved one is transitioning, is completely different. And, the set of emotions that you go through really are different. And the pain is just so deep, it just wrenches your soul. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about grief and vulnerability, because recently I made myself vulnerable to a group of people, that I don't really know that well. And I just didn't really feel supported in that moment. And, a lot of it, yes, it could be my own stuff, but I just, it kind of, for a moment, I was just like, you know what? Forget this. I'm not going to ever expose my heart again because people are just insensitive or they just don't get it or whatever. And I kind of touched upon this in my previous video where, I was saying how, when my daughter died, I was just feeling kind of abandoned by people and things like that. But, I kind of snapped out of it. I was like, look, Juana, you have to be vulnerable. You have to show your full heart so that you can tell your story, because this story will help someone else. And, grief is vulnerability, and grief is a process. It is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for the person who's grieving, and it's uncomfortable for the people around them, because there are people who judge you, but they judge you because of their own fears about being vulnerable. So, you have to come from a place of empathy and self-compassion and allow yourself to be vulnerable. Grief, doesn't help you to be strong. It requires you to be vulnerable. Strength comes from the practice of empathy, and the more you practice empathy for yourself and compassion for yourself, the more you'll be able to extend that empathy and compassion to others. Vulnerability is the beginning of love. It's the birthplace of joy. It's the heart of connection, and it's the muse of creativity. So I choose vulnerability because I believe in transparency. I believe in showing my heart. There was a time when I was really closed and I didn't really know how to relate and share with other women, just because of so many negative experiences with women growing up, until I met a young woman when I was working in the jail system and in New York City. And this woman's story completely blew my mind. Her story was that of abuse. Her story was that of rape at the hands of her loved one or her partner, torture, kidnapping, starvation, all at the hands of a man that she was in a relationship with. And not only did he put her through that, he put her 2 children through that experience as well. And this woman was so open. And what struck me about her was not just how incredulous her story was, but what struck me is that just the openness and the love and the gratitude that she was still able to display, even in the face of all of those things, all the tragedy, all the trauma. She was still able to relate and be open to other women and share her story and offer encouragement for other women who may have been going through the same thing. And after meeting her and having the honor of just being in her presence and hearing her story and getting to know her, I was just like, wow, if she can go through that and be so open and transparent, I can do the same. And I can share my story with other women, no matter what it is. It could be something simple, just as to, how I grew up or how I felt, growing up in Harlem, how I felt growing up with a single mom. Just anything, because people can relate to your experiences, because we don't live in a vacuum and people do share common threads. So I had to kind of get over myself this week. I've been crying a lot because it's just a lot, because being a suicide survivor, I understand the pain that people experience, and it's a pain so deep and so profound that nobody can really fathom this type of pain that people have, that they feel like they would rather just not be here than continue to live with that kind of pain. So again, I'm going to choose vulnerability. I might be a little more selective with the people I'm vulnerable with, but I'm not going to let other people's opinions or other people's judgment keeping me from being my authentic self. So I just wanted to say, guys, I gave out several scholarships today in my daughter's honor. I also made a charitable contribution to help 50 girls in Nigeria to get vocational training in the name of the school principal, who also received one of my daughter's awards. So again, my heart is full. I'm so grateful. Everything, the universe is just letting things work out the way it's supposed to, and I just have to continue to trust and believe that there's a greater plan, there's a higher purpose for me, there's a higher purpose for my family. And last night when I was typing up the letters for the scholarships, it was late, and I was extremely tired, and I was trying to get these letters typed up so that I can put the checks together in the envelopes, and I still had to go to the trophy store today and pick up the medal, so I was just doing way too much, but I had to get it done. And I was typing up the letters, and when I looked at my clock, the time was 1:11. And I was like, surely the angels are present. And that was confirmation for me that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing and honoring my daughter's memory. So when I went to bed, probably around 1:30, 1:45 this morning, I could smell my daughter's scent next to my bed, and it was a very distinct scent, and I could smell her scent and I could feel her presence. And today at the graduation, I also felt my daughter's presence. I don't know if you can see, but this was her name necklace. It says Ijeoma on there. So I wore this today just to keep her close to my heart, and it was just a beautiful day, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm so grateful to her for sticking around and just letting me know that yes, this is what I wanted and I approve. So I just want to say to all of you who may be grieving or who may be struggling with vulnerability, not necessarily as a result of grief, but just in general, and just being afraid to be your authentic self because you're worried about judgment from other people. You have to just let that go, because people are going to have their opinions. People are going to say what they want to say, and that's not your business. You know, your business is following your life path, following your soul purpose, and just being your best, the best version of yourself. So I just want to say I love you all. I appreciate all your prayers that you've been sending up for me this week. And again, you have to soar. You know, there's no other option. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I hope you will continue to soar as well. So until next time, I love you. Be good to yourselves. Peace.